Well, as the land debate, the debate on land expropriation without compensation continues, some innovators are coming up with creative ways to help people interested in farming. Khula is a program for those who want to know how the industry works. So let's get you the very latest on this story now. Karidas Tshintsholo is the executive director of the MoneyTreeGroup. It's also the company behind the Khula app, and he joins us now in studio. I won't try and describe the app myself. I think perhaps I should leave that to you. So it's aimed at helping emerging farmers. How does it do that?
Yes, so Khula is a supply chain solution for emerging farmers. So what we do is that we built a platform where we connect emerging farmers directly with markets. It's actually ironic that today is Africa Day. So Africa has about 60% of the world's arable land, and we've got more than half of Africa's population dependent on small-scale agriculture. But we're importing about $40 billion US dollars of food, and that doesn't make sense. And one of the big reasons for that is that emerging farmers are disconnected from trading directly with the formal market. A prime example is that a lot of emerging farmers are forced to take their produce to the fresh produce market. For example, a farmer will take a bunch of spinach to the market and they'll get about 3 rand for that bunch, and then another company will pick it up, take it to an office block, sell it for about 10 rand, and then or to a processor, which will then chop it up, sell it to a supermarket for about 15 rand. If you go on the shelf today, a bunch of chopped spinach is about 25 rand, in some cases 28 rand, and emerging black farmers only get about 2 rand of that. And Khula connects the farmer directly with the end market.
I mean, there's this whole movement, and it has been for some time now, this farm-to-table movement. I mean, if I'm a company or a restaurant, for example,
yes.
Before, perhaps I would drive many kilometers to go and get my produce.
Yes.
And I suppose part of the aim of this app is so that it connects me also with a farmer that I need to work with who is very close by?
Yes. So we allow our clients to, when they're placing orders, they can pick a radius. So they can say, I would like to get tomatoes from farmers within a 30-kilometer radius. We've been running a pilot. We've got about 175 farmers that we're trading with within Gauteng and in the Northwest. And we're supplying the likes of Rokomamas. We're supplying a couple of family-owned spas within the Joburg area. We're working with a company called Munching Mongoose. We've supplied Kalpesh at the Michelangelo Hotel. So basically, we're connecting farmers directly, and we're able to give them a better deal than what they're getting. They're able to get a better price. We sort out their logistics. By the time they put seed on the ground, they know where that crop is going, how much it's going to sell for, and where and how it's going to get there.
I mean, I love that analogy that you're saying. By the time they put seed on the ground, they know where that crop is going. That's incredible. And what's even better, and I'm sure the farmers are very happy about this, is that they are ultimately getting more money out of the work they're putting into the ground. Yes,
ultimately they get more money, because currently at the market takes commission on each trade that goes through the market. They lose about 14% to the agent as well on each trade that goes through, on top of the transport cost, and they're not assured that the produce is going to sell. And even if it goes off, they have to depend on the agent who will tell them that 20% of your food has actually gone off.
So this cuts out the middleman?
Yes, definitely cuts out the middleman. And I think in the context of the land debate that's currently happening, I think one of the big mistakes is that we have too much of the politics conversation going on, but we're not talking too much about the solutions. We're not talking too much about getting the youth involved to bring in solutions that pertain to agriculture. So we're more on the solutions conversation to say, when now the bill is passed, or the land expropriation is passed, what are the solutions that we need to have in place? We want to make it financially viable, even for young people, to go into agriculture. And for us to get young people to go into agriculture, 2 things need to happen. We need to make it a financially viable alternative to a job, and secondly, we need to make it cool. And hence we're using tech. And we've got quite a number of young farmers who are already using up land that their families own, and we're already procuring from them.
I mean, it's great to hear that young farmers are involved, but when you say things like tech savvy, already I feel like I'm not part of that group of people, that tech savvy group of people. In terms of the farmers that we do, the emerging farmers that we do have working in the country, how old are they, mostly, sort of broadly speaking, and is this app for them?
Yes, so it's quite a wide age gap. So when we're building the app, we worked with the University of Johannesburg. They've got a program called Izindaba Zokudla. So when we're building the app, we built the first version, we took it to them, and they said, no, that font is too small, no, use an actual picture, do this. So we modified the app to such a point where it was usable for the farmers, and they're actually using it on a daily basis, updating the information on the app. And one of the big problems we're solving is the problem of data. So every year, government sends out people to go and do surveys with small-scale farmers to gather data on what they have and what they're farming. By the time they get the data, it's 2 to 3 months later. And in agriculture, we're working with perishable goods. So effectively, it means that a lot of policy decisions made in Parliament are made on data that's actually outdated. So our platform allows us to have live information. At any given time, we know what our farmers have on the ground, we know what's ready to harvest, and we know when the stuff on the ground is going to be ready for harvest. And this is a pilot that we've already run with about 26 clients, and we've got 175 farmers that are currently trading within Gauteng and Northwest.
I mean, I'm not a farmer, but I'm pretty excited about the app. In terms of the importance of an app like this, given as you said, that it's Africa Day, given that this discussion around land expropriation without compensation is taking place, how involved is government in this app in particular?
With this app, we've done everything ourselves up to this point. It's been very difficult to reach out to government, even to reaching out to private sector. We've had to put in our own money from the first business that we started. My business partner and I, Matthew Piper. We had to put in our own money, and we needed to prove the pilot. So now that we've proven the pilot, now that we've got these 175 farmers, now that we've got these clients that we're trading with, hence why I'm also here today to try and engage stakeholders.
So you've not spoken to government
We have
as yet?
not spoken to government as yet, but we're opening the conversation to them and to private sector. Part of what we're doing now, we've got a long waiting list of farmers. We've got about 600 farmers that are in our waiting list, and I'm sure after this interview, that list is going to be even much broader.
And what do they pay for the app? Is it a paid-for app?
So the app is absolutely free. Our current business model is that we're taking about 3% of each trade that goes through the system. The market is taking about 14%. And as we get more farmers on the app, we want to push that even lower. And because even the logistics is outsourced, we're not incurring a lot of costs on our side. So we're taking about 3% of whatever goes through the platform.
So you've launched this pilot in South Africa, but according to the description that I have here, it's for emerging farmers in Africa. So you're hoping to branch it out to the continent?
Yeah, so I think Gauteng was the starting point, and we wanted to test the model under hectic conditions, but the goal is to take it across Africa. I think the land thing is an Africa problem. I think Africa has a lot of resources that we're not using to their full capability. We have enough land to feed the world 10 times over. 60% of the world's arable land is here, but we're importing food. That does not make sense. So we want to scale the model out of Gauteng and Northwest into South Africa and hopefully start taking it across the continent. And hence why now we're doing this drive of trying to raise funding for the business and get the right partners involved to try and scale this across the continent.
Such an important app. Incredible story. Thanks very much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Karidas Tshintsholo is the executive director of the MoneyTreeGroup. It's also the company that's behind the Khula app. Incredible story, this.